you guys, it is me, Laura. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, ages 5, 9, and 12. And today I am going to share with you a book outlet haul that came in. So I am preparing for my reading for the 2023 year. I am a mood reader, which means that I can't just say, oh, these are the 5 books I'm going to read for the month and actually read those 5 books, because it depends on the mood that I'm in. And I have lots of different interests and lots of different goals. And so I like to have my TBR shelf, my virtual shelf with ebooks and audiobooks, as well as my physical shelf, nice and full, so that every time I finish a book, I have another book ready to go that I am in the mood for reading. So I am prepping my TBR for the 2023 year, and I got my book outlet books in today, and I've gotten a few others. So my kids are out playing. I'm going to try to show you for sure what I got from Book Outlet, as well as, if there's time, I'll show you a few other things that have been trickling in from thrift books and Amazon and other places to set myself up for the 2023 year. And my goal is to not have any other large book purchases until I really get through a lot of this stuff. I also have some stuff on my shelves already. I do have some pre-orders that I'll be getting throughout the year, and of course I'm going to utilize my library as much as I can. I have a very big TBR set up on my Libby app. So if you're not familiar with Libby, you can get an account through your library card, using your library card, and most cards also give you access to a number of other libraries as well. So that's super cool, because that's even more books you can get. And I will use that to get audiobooks as well as books for my Kindle, and sometimes that can really save me a lot of money. And it's nice because when I use my Kindle, when I finish a book, I can just get another book right then. I don't have to go somewhere or wait, and so that's really good for me as well. But I'm going to show you what I got from Book Outlet today. Some of these are for my kids, most of them are for me, some of them are for me to share with my kids. We're going to start with picture books. In our house, we absolutely love Patricia Polacco. Especially my oldest has always really enjoyed her books, and especially once we read this one, which I have had on our list forever and I was finally able to get at Book Outlet. Thank you, Mr. Faulkner. This is actually about Patricia Polacco, and she has dyslexia, and it talks about a teacher who really worked with her and helped her become the writer and illustrator that she is today. We have dyslexia in our family, so once we all learned that about Patricia Polacco, it made everyone fall in love with her even more, because even though she has dyslexia, even though reading was hard for her, she became a super famous author and illustrator, and that is just so inspiring to my kids. So I definitely wanted to own this one. We've checked it out from the library multiple times. And then we got a few more by her. This is My Rotten Redheaded Older Brother, which is actually about her and her brother. Then we have Remembering Vera, and this is about a little Coast Guard dog, which is super cute. I haven't actually read this one, so this will be a fun one to read. This is The Junkyard Wonders. This is another really inspiring one that I believe is also based on her childhood. I don't actually know a lot about this one, but I have one child who really loves like digging in junk and finding old junk and making it into something special and new, and so I thought that he would like this one too. This one looked super cute, and I got it for my 5-year-old. It's called Kitty, and it is about a grandmother who is cat sitting and has all sorts of fun shenanigans, and it looks like there's a raccoon involved, and this one just looked really cute, so I picked this one up as well. Anybody who knows me well knows that I really love Narnia and C.S. Lewis and all that jazz, and so I found this picture book, Through the Wardrobe, How C.S. Lewis Created Narnia. So I was super excited about this, and it has really great illustrations as well. This one is perfect because I'm about to start with one of my sons a literature unit with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, so this is actually perfect because we can read this together as well. So next I'm going to show you the nonfiction books that I picked up. So I am really trying to myself understand especially US history, but history from multiple perspectives and nationalities and things like that, and trying to get a better picture of it than just the Eurocentric view. Harvest of Empire, A History of Latinos in America. It had pretty good reviews, so I was pretty interested in this one. It's a pretty hefty read, but I think I'm going to enjoy it and learn a lot from it, so I picked this one up for me. I also got Beyond Religion by the Dalai Lama, Ethics for a Whole World, and this looked very interesting to me. I'm trying to read at least once a month if I can. We'll see some kind of religion book, and so this one was interesting. And this is another one that I wanted to read, which is God Is Not One, an indispensable guide to the questions human beings have asked for millennia. and to the desperate paths we are taking to answer them daily. And one thing you guys might not know about me is that my degree in college was actually religious studies. So this stuff is very fascinating to me, very interesting. And so I'm excited to kind of get back to reading some more of that kind of stuff again. And this one is Faces of Ground Zero. I'm debating on doing a unit study on 9/11, but either way, my oldest is very interested in September 11. And even if I don't do a unit study, he can read lots of books and get lots of information and learn about it. And he already picked this up and has been looking through it and really enjoys it. It's just got quotes and information about different people who were there, or people who lost people who barely got out. And it's just a really, really interesting book to have on that topic. So I also have one adult novel. This is Talk to Me by T.C. Boyle. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it looked really interesting. It says, when animal behaviorist Guy Shermanhorn demonstrates on a TV game show that he has taught Sam, his juvenile chimp, to speak in sign language, Amy Villard, an undergraduate at Guy's University, is so taken with the performance that she applies to become his assistant. And anyway, this is about their relationship and everything that they do. So also when I was in college, something that you probably don't know about me. So one of the last classes that I took was an animal behavior class, and it was one for one of my science credits. I absolutely loved that class. It was one of my favorite classes in college, which was actually really shocking to me. I didn't think that I would like it. I thought it would be really hard and I would have a hard time getting through it, but I absolutely loved it. And so ever since, I've really been interested in animal behavior. So this is going to kind of be a fun read for that. And I also got this one, How to Be an International Spy. My son really loves these Lonely Planet Kids books. He's read a couple of them and he just thoroughly enjoys them, totally soaks them up. And we're going to be doing a unit study on the Cold War, and I'm going to be tying in a lot of spying stuff then because it fits so well. And so I thought I would put this in our book basket for that, and I'm pretty sure that he will eat this one up. It's kind of like this kind of book. So there's lots of pictures in there and just so interactive, and I think that he's really going to enjoy that one. So now moving on to the bulk of what I got, which would be middle grade-ish fiction novels. So that's mostly what I got. So this is Just Beyond the Very, Very Far North. We have The Very, Very Far North, and if you're looking for a picture book or a read aloud for younger kids, this one is really good. It looks like this one has, the second one doesn't have quite as many pictures as the first one, but this is kind of reminiscent of, at least the first one, and I'm assuming the same thing, of Winnie the Pooh. It has this kind of vibes. They're short stories, but they kind of all go together and super sweet. I love the writing. It's very clever. It's written in a way that can keep adults engaged, but is also going to appeal to young children. So I really wanted to get the second one in the series, and so I did. This is the Countdown Conspiracy. So I am wanting to do, we've done so many space units because my kids really enjoy it. And so I'm hoping to do another one. The kids really want to know a lot more about astronauts, about going to Mars, about space travel in a more of a futuristic kind of way. And so we might turn this into a read aloud for a unit study. I'm not sure, but I wanted to check it out because I've heard some good things about it. So I got that one. This is one that has been on my TBR list since it came out, but I haven't read it yet. It's Shelter. It's about homelessness, and it just looks like a really sweet book, so I thought I would read that one. This one is The Hedgehog of Oz, and I had never heard of this before, but it looked so adorable. I honestly wasn't expecting it to be this thick of a read. I was expecting it to be small, like shorter, but it looked super duper cute. I read with one of my kids this year, The Wizard of Oz with literature, and all the kids kind of got involved with it, and it was really fun, and we watched the movie. And this summer we're going to be going to the stage play, and so I thought this would be another fun way to add into that whole experience and that whole fun. This one is The Kaya Girl. I honestly don't know a whole lot about this one either. I've seen several people that read books like I do recommend it, and I know that it is about a rich girl and a poor Muslim migrant worker who meet at a market, and it talks about their lives and how they intersect and they become friends, and that's about all I know, but I'm really excited to read this one. I'm always especially interested in good books from Africa and Asia and the Pacific Islands, places that are not usually represented in literature, and so I wanted to check this one out as well. This one I had actually never heard of before, but when I was browsing through Book Outlet, I found it. It is about a boy who has a condition that says that he counts every letter spoken to him, and it causes problems at his school, and he ends up being sent, I believe, and this could be wrong because I haven't read it yet, but my understanding is that he is sent to live with his mom, who's on a Native American reservation, and somehow here he's able to find his place and find some kind of healing, I think. So this sounded really interesting to me, so I figured I might as well. So one thing I've noticed this past year in my reading is that I really enjoy mysteries and puzzles and kind of that kind of genre, just as kind of a relaxing thing, a fun read for me. So I found this one, and this one looked like, if it's any good, I think my kids would also really like it. It's called Cat Wolf Investigates, and it's about a pet sitting agency, and there becomes this big mystery, and they're trying to solve it and trying to figure it out, and two girls end up, I think, working together to try to solve the mystery. And anyway, it looked really fun, so I thought I would pick this one up. This one has been on my wish list, or my TBR list, since it came out. Let's see, I think it came out last year, maybe the year before. It came out in 2020, so it has been on my wish list since then. This is a World War II story, and at the time I was actually looking for a lot of World War II stories, trying to figure out what we were going to do for our unit. That is coming up actually still. It's taken us a long time to get to it. We've done a lot of other stuff in between, but that's totally fine. We're not on any kind of timetable to get through this stuff. This one was interesting to me because it's from Czechoslovakia, and again, there's tons of World War II stories out there, but I haven't heard of much from Czechoslovakia, and this is just a different part of the story that I'm not used to reading. So I wanted to try this one out, so I got it as well. And this is the last one that I got from Book Outlet. It's called Across the Pond. And this is really cool because the girl is American, and she moves to Scotland, and she lives in a castle, but she actually really doesn't like living in the castle. And she's very nervous about making new friends and trying to figure things out. And so she finds a journal hidden in her bedroom. I'm kind of reading so that I'm making sure I'm telling you the right thing. And she ends up deciding to make a birding club. And I thought, how cool is that? We don't really see a whole lot of books that are about birding and loving birds. And she's just really trying to find her own group of friends and see if she can make this new place home. And it just seemed like a really sweet read, different from what I usually read, but I thought I would give it a go. Oh, those are the books I got at Book Outlet, and I'm going to show you guys if I can. I don't even think I can pick this all up. I'll show you in a few stacks. So I got all of these books. So there's these books, and there's these books. They're heavy. So I got all of those. I think it's like 20 something books for under $100, and they're all new from Book Outlet. So if you're wanting to stock up on books for your school year or your reading year or anything, I definitely recommend checking them out for sure. So I do have a few more minutes, so I'm going to show you a few of the other books that I have gotten that have come in that are on my TBR for this year. So let me gather those together and hang on a second. I am working on writing a homeschool curriculum. This curriculum is going to be especially geared for families and students who might be gifted or have dyslexia or ADHD or learning disabilities or other kinds of things. And I am just learning, and I'm to the point where I have a clear vision in mind, but there's some things that I want to understand more before I really get pen to paper and really am diving in and getting it done. These are some of the books that I am going to be reading this year. This is The Writing Rope. It's a framework for explicit writing instructions in all subjects, and I think explicit writing instruction is really important. And one thing I want to say about all of these books, I am not someone who will read a book about the science and then go full hog into that one methodology. I like to read a bunch of different things and see what I can learn and what I can put together, what I've learned from experience through tutoring over the years, through working with my own children. I glean information from my mom, who was a special ed teacher for over 30 years, and really just trying to get information from all the places that I can so that I can put into this curriculum and in the work that I do with my kids, things that will work best and have options, because every child is different. So anyway, this is The Writing Rope. There's more research coming out on writing, and so I'm really interested. This is some of the latest, and I want to see what people are saying. This one is called Bringing Words to Life, Robust Vocabulary Instruction. So I'm interested to see what people are learning and thinking about ways to incorporate vocabulary and help that to be something easier for students to grasp. This one is Disrupting Thinking, Why How We Read Matters. And this goes over the different approaching, how we read, like how that actually makes a difference. And so I'm interested to see what's in here. This one is Deeper Reading, Comprehending Challenging Texts for Grades 4 through 12. I'm interested to see what this says and how we can help students to really get the most out of their reading. I believe that reading and discussing good books is one of the best ways to develop critical thinking skills. So I'm hoping that that book will kind of pull some of that out a little bit more. This one is Comprehensive Literacy for All Ages, Teaching Students with Significant Disabilities to Read and Write, and I'm very interested in this. This book comes from the premise that we can teach every person to read and write regardless of their disabilities, regardless of what they're up against, and so I'm very interested to see what Karen Erickson and David Koppenhever, that's a really tough name, Koppenhever, I think, say about that. This one I have already started and I'm really enjoying it. It's 180 days. It's about two high school language arts teachers. Of course, this can apply to middle school, high school, you know, a bunch of other things. And it talks about how they goes through their whole year of how they do language arts in their school, how they plan it, how they adapt it for the students they have, what is on their plan, what they actually do. And it's just a really good inside look. I know that I am not writing for classroom teachers, but I think sometimes it can be helpful to take a look at what teachers who've been doing this for a very long time, regardless of the setting, do, and kind of pick up and learn some things from that. And then this one I'm also super excited about. This is Worth 1,000 Words, Using Graphic Novels to Teach Visual and Verbal Literacy. I am definitely a big fan of graphic novels, especially for reluctant readers or students with dyslexia, or even students who just really prefer a visual medium. You can learn a lot from graphic novels, and I'm trying to learn more how to use them for novel studies or literature, or to really get more meaning out of them than just read quick and be done. And because it's a format that I'm not familiar with, I want to learn better how to utilize that. So I'm excited to read this book and learn a little bit more about that. And then I got two more books that have come in that are fiction. This one is historical fiction. I love Avi. This is The Player King. This is during the time... That was exciting. So this one is The Player King, and it's by Avi. It's during the time of Henry VIII, and it is about finding Prince Edward, and he didn't know that he's Prince Edward and that he's actually supposed to become king, and him finding his place. So this one, I'm going to read through it. Some of Avi's stuff is really better for older kids, so I thought I would give this a take and see if my child who loves this kind of time period might enjoy this one. And who knows, maybe we'll use it for a read aloud. I just thought that it would be worth a try. And the last one I got, I've seen this one recommended a lot. It was kind of an impulse buy, I guess. It looked like it would be interesting to put on my TBR. It's called The Attic Child, and it's about a slave who is locked in an attic, and then about a century later, a little girl who is privileged, who gets locked in the same attic and finds the journal of the slave, and how their lives kind of intersect and overlap. And it looked pretty interesting, and I'm definitely trying to read more adult and YA books because most of my reading has been middle grade, and so I'm just trying to branch out a little bit. I think it's good. I've been starting to read a little bit more of them and have been enjoying them. So those are the books that I have added to my TBR to kind of get me started for 2023. I'm super excited about them. I'm interested to know what books you are excited to read for the 2023 year, and what of these look interesting to you. And yeah, that is pretty much all I have for you guys. I hope that you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.